Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's headlines bring updates on election security preparations, China's push for a higher birth rate, illegal voting allegations, Boeing's overcharges, Cuba embargo news, and Japan's warm autumn affecting Mount Fuji. Let's get into it. U.S. states increase security measures ahead of Election Day. As the U.S. presidential election approaches, 3 states, Washington, Oregon, and Nevada, are ramping up security, putting the National Guard on standby in response to concerns over possible unrest. In Washington, Governor Jay Inslee has called on the National Guard to support local law enforcement. Inslee stated, "Based upon general and specific information, I am directing the Washington National Guard to prepare to provide critical public safety support." Oregon Governor Tina Kotek has also activated the state's National Guard for potential election support as local officials brace for potential disturbances. In Nevada, Governor Joe Lombardo has placed 60 National Guard troops on standby. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., barricades are being set up around key government buildings, and some businesses are boarding up as a precautionary measure. Officials are urging the public to stay calm and safe, emphasizing that these precautions are preventative. China pushes for higher birth rates amid decline. In a bid to reverse its falling birth rate, China is now conducting calls to women across the country, inquiring about family planning, and sometimes even asking personal questions like the date of their last menstrual period. Jane Huang, a 35-year-old mother, shared her experience with an official who hinted that more follow-ups might come, suggesting she consider having more children. The government's initiative, which some view as intrusive, has met with a mixed reception on social media, with many women emphasizing that family planning should be a personal choice. Despite ending its one-child policy in 2015, China's birth rate remains low, leading to concerns about a potential future population decline. A popular online post summed it up. "Having children is not something we just do because we're told." Chinese student charged with illegal voting in Michigan election. A Chinese national studying at the University of Michigan is now facing felony charges for voting illegally in the 2024 U.S. general election. According to Michigan's Secretary of State, the 19-year-old student cast a ballot in Ann Arbor on October 27th, despite being ineligible as a non-U.S. citizen. Former U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy explained that the illegally cast ballot will likely be counted because it's impossible to trace it back and remove it from the system due to voting anonymity protections. The Michigan Attorney General's office has launched an investigation into the incident, highlighting the importance of maintaining election integrity and reinforcing that individuals who attempt to vote illegally will face consequences. Boeing overcharges the U.S. Air Force on spare parts. Boeing is under scrutiny after a Pentagon report revealed it charged the U.S. Air Force excessive prices for spare parts, including an astonishing 7,943% markup on soap dispensers for the C-17 aircraft. Out of 46 reviewed parts, only 9 were deemed fair and reasonable in price. Boeing responded to the report, stating it will review the findings and emphasizing that certain parts meet unique military specifications. The Pentagon's Office of the Inspector General continues to push for better oversight of procurement practices to avoid overcharges that impact taxpayers. UN General Assembly condemns U.S. embargo on Cuba. For the 32nd year, the United Nations General Assembly has overwhelmingly voted to condemn the U.S. economic embargo on Cuba, with only the U.S. and Israel opposing and one nation abstaining. Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez pointed to the embargo as a key factor behind Cuba's economic challenges, including power outages and food shortages, while calling for the next U.S. president to lift the restrictions. While the embargo remains in place to promote democracy and human rights, U.S. officials argue that the sanctions exclude essential goods, noting over $336 million in agricultural exports to Cuba last year. Despite these claims, the embargo has led to Cuba's isolation from U.S. trade, with the annual UN vote highlighting ongoing global opposition to the policy. Unseasonably, warm weather leaves Mount Fuji snowless. As of late October, Mount Fuji, Japan's iconic peak, has yet to see its usual snowfall, a phenomenon attributed to record-breaking temperatures. Japan's meteorological agency reports that this summer was the hottest on record, with temperatures from June to August exceeding normal levels by 1.76 degrees Celsius. In October, over 70 Japanese cities reached 30 degrees Celsius. At its 86 degrees Fahrenheit, conditions analysts say were likely driven by climate change. Shinichi Yanagi, a meteorologist in Kofu, Japan, explained that continued high temperatures and rain have prevented snow from settling on Mount Fuji, which normally has its first snowfall by early October. Japan is now implementing additional environmental policies, including a tourist tax to protect its natural sites from rising tourism. And that's it for today. From election preparations in the US to China's family planning push and environmental shifts in Japan, these stories are shaping our world. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more updates. Stay informed, and we'll see you next time.